Toothless. Oh my god, he's a good fisherman. Welcome back, y'all, to another episode of Toothless TV with your host, as always, Toothless Ty. Today we are out on the back porch and I'm going to show y'all how to make the rig that everyone's been talking about on YouTube for the past month, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and that is this little ditty here, the Inu Rig, straight out of Japan. I do have a different variation on it because I did not have any tubing, nor do I think a tubing is very efficient or effective while trying to go out there and fish. It would take me 5 or 10 minutes to rig up one worm, and then if I get stuck in a tree or whatever, or a brush pile, which happens more times than I can count, then I would have to spend all that time making another worm, or spend all day rigging up different colored worms. And I think I found a better way to do it. Stay tuned, I'll show you all how to rig it. Alright, so for the supplies that we're going to start off here today is, we've got a couple different kind of hooks that we can use. If you're looking for a non-weedless approach, then the G-Finesse light wire size 1 worm hook will be your best bet. But I'm planning on getting into some pretty gnarly things, so we're not going to use that. Instead, we're going to use a Gamakatsu size 1/0 weedless split / drop shot hook. This is going to be rigged on the bottom. Okay, this is what's going to be open. This is what's probably going to get most of your hook sets. And then for the top, we're going to use the same Gamakatsu split shot drop shot hook, except this one's going to be a size 1, not a size 1/0. I don't think it matters. This is all I can find at the store. 1/0 would probably be fine, but honestly, the size 1 looks pretty darn good, being a little smaller. And for some reason, I'm thinking that the bass is going to bite that moving tail more, so I think that's why this size will be better on the bottom. So I think the best size worm is going to be what everyone else is pretty much using, and that is a trick worm. The only reason why I'm using the zooms for right now is because I have a whole bunch in the pack and I was trying to rig it up different ways, so I didn't care if I mess some up. But the main thing you want to get is a worm that has a flat bottom. Okay, and the reason for the flat bottom is so when you are finessing this up and down, let me show you. When you are finessing this up and down, your line is not going to get caught inside of that worm. Those big fat ones, that flat bottom allows it to pump up and down. And the water, I tested this in the sink, it definitely proves to be true. Now when I am out there on the water tomorrow, when we're going to try to fish this thing, and I'll show you all in that video as well, I'm going to be using the Guggenbait Slim Shake. A little bit bigger worm, a little bit more bulky profile, but it has that flat bottom, which I think is going to be real nice. And it's got a little bit of fish oil in there. If that's going to change it or not, I don't know. I just like the worms. So let's go ahead and we will start off with rigging. I went ahead and grabbed some paper so you guys could see this just a little bit better with the braid. Alright, so this is what we're looking at here. We have a free swinging hook up top. Then down below we have our weedless wacky drop shot hook with just a regular or whatever knot you want. I just tie the uni knot. Alright, so let me go ahead and cut these off real quick, and we'll just show you again how to get her done. Alright, so we got our braided line here. We are going to start with our small size 1 drop shot hook. Alright, so the most important thing for this is to make sure that the hook is standing up straight on your line. You don't want it pointed downwards. Okay, so you want it pointed straight up. Alright, since I'm doing this backwards, I'm going to push it like this. Okay, and then that's free swinging. You want that to free swing. Okay, so your hook is pointed straight up. Okay, then we're going to take our size 1 or 1/0 weedless wacky, and we're going to tie that on the bottom. You can use any knot you like. I always like to tie a uni knot. It's really simple. For those of you who don't know, you just go ahead and you pinch right above the eye, right there. You take your tag end, you make a loop, pinch it right there with that same hand, and then depending on what pound test you have, you're gonna go anywhere from 4 to 7, sometimes 8 loops around. And that's what you do. You just go, you're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll just do 5. This is a 65-pound test braid, so you don't need many loops. Then you're gonna pull. This was fluorocarbon. I would wet it with some spit, but braid doesn't really burn up when you pull it, so we're good there. Then you're gonna grab the base of the hook, pull that straight down. You're gonna take your tag end, cut that off. And there you go. That's your uni knot. All right. So what we have here is our wacky rig on the bottom, wacky hook on the bottom, and our up pointing drop shot hook. Okay, see how it's up pointing like that? The reason why you want the drop shot hook is because it has that small bend right there. If you did not have that small bend, then the worm will go all the way up top and it would get stuck when you're trying to pull. Okay, so now we are going to rig our worm. All right, there's a couple variations on this as well, but I think the best way to do it is to rig it weedless throughout the whole thing. All right, so we're gonna grab our worm here. We're gonna take the top side, the fattest side, okay, not the tail end. We're gonna take that and we're going to put the flat side of the worm facing towards our line. Okay, we're gonna want to try to get pretty close to the top. It doesn't have to be all the way up there. Okay, and we're gonna want it to lay just like this. All right, so what we're gonna do for that is we're gonna push it through. Okay, we're gonna push it through so we have it like this. You see how our hook's exposed. Okay, see we have our exposed hook. And then what we're gonna do, real simple, we're just gonna take the hook, we're gonna bury it inside the worm, just like that. Okay, and that hook is buried right there in that worm. You guys can see that. Okay, and then for our wacky side, this one's real easy. All you have to do is just take the bottom fat end and just push it straight through. Take your weed guard, and that is it. That is the Inu Rig modified in a nutshell. Have all the play that you need. All right, now this is the Inu Rig with fluorocarbon. I know you can't see it very well, but that's how it's gonna look in the water. Tomorrow we're gonna try this out. We got a lot better conditions. So that right there is basically in a nutshell of how you tie the modified Inu Rig. And then if you break off, or you say you rip that worm in half just like that, you don't have to go get all that plastic tubing like everyone else is showing you online. I mean, that's just a pain in the neck. But when you tie it this way, you can change your worms out within 30 seconds. So I think this way is the best way to rig it. I think this is going to catch us a lot more fish. And tomorrow we're going to try, in these conditions, we're going to try to go up real shallow, way up the river, and see what we can catch. Alrighty guys, I hope you enjoyed that tutorial of how to tie the modified Inu Rig. We're going to see if we can get them tomorrow. We're going to go out early morning. I bought a new pair of AFCO bibs, so this cold weather ain't going to terrify me anymore. And we're going to run all the way up the river and get as shallow as we can. Maybe not as dirty as we can, because we do have some fresh water running in on these White River chain of lakes. Beaver Lake gets a little clear when you run all the way up. So we're gonna try to get real shallow in some clear water, do a little sight fishing, and see what we can get on the old Inu Rig. Stay tuned.